Hello, 5H here. For this zeroth and first episode, I will do only English voiceover over already created episodes in Czech, but starting with second episode, there will be full comment in English, so those will be better. Hi, so first episode of our journey is here. Where we went, what we experienced and so on. We covered the road from home, from Czech Republic to Oslo and few days in Oslo.
Je 23:18 a vyrážíme směr Kařez.
Může někdo udělat deše?
Doplníme vzduch do pneumatik
Já to můžeš udělat deše.
a vyrážíme za polární září.
Čau, čau.
At the end of the episode, we will also discuss gas in caravans, propan bombs in Norway, and the fun that we had with them. We started off by buying wrong bomb for our caravan, so we learned the lesson, but at least now we know how does it work. We went first day from home, from Rokycany, and arrived near Magdeburg for first night. We slept on parking at Elbe Park shopping mall. It was not RV parking with equipment, but there was dedicated section of parking lot for the RVs. It was okay, almost empty, just few other campers and trucks. In the morning it started to be a little bit more busy around the mall, but RV parking was on the far side of the lot. From Magdeburg we were heading in direction to Denmark, where we more or less by a chance found Snowdome in Bispingen. It is next to highway, there is indoor ski slope, superb kids playground and big parking lot. On the parking there was few RVs. I am not sure if it is allowed to stay overnight, but for lunch it was ideal spot. Kids had a good time on the playground. It is possible to go inside. There is thematic gift shop and restaurant. It is even possible to go on gallery to have a look on ski slope. So kids were happy, we cooked the lunch and it was nice spot. We were heading to Denmark, but we were not decided yet if we go further to north of Denmark and take ferry to Norway, or if we will head east and drive through Alesund Bridge and the Danish islands to Malmö. Finally we decided to take bridges, because in Norway we will definitely take ferry few times. On the way back we have planned to go from Helsinki to Tallinn on ship as well, so we skipped the ship this time and took bridges. So on south of Denmark we turned east and spent night under first bridge in Eristo. There was part of unused port where it was possible to park with caravan. It was free, there were no services, but on the other hand there was very nice view of the bridge. There were several other campers. Since we arrived at Saturday's night, there was few cars with local people hanging around, but nothing special happened, so it was calm night.
Sobotní večer, takže tam postávali ještě nějaký místní v autech, nějaká omladina, ale nic zvláštního se tam nedělo.
Next to the port there were two huge tanks. I was not able to find for what those were used. If anybody knows, write us, I am quite curious what they were used to. They were quite high, so I expect some kind of gas rather than fuel for ships or something, since I guess such tanks won't hold liquid substance.
Nedržela. Takže to je taková zajímavost.
From Eristo we had two bridges in direction to Malmö. We went through, paid toll I didn't search for any online payment, we just paid in the toll gate. So we continued to Malmö and to north through Sweden because the first big target was the Oslo.
Protože takový první velký cíl bylo Oslo.
A vyjíždíme do Švýcarska. Teda Švýcarska, do Švédska.
From Malmö we drove north and found RV parking with services in Marina in the small village of Haverdal. When we arrived, we realized that we should do online reservation in advance, but the place was fully occupied anyway. So unfortunately we had to turn around. But we had a dinner there, we had a walk, kids played with the water a little bit, it was quite windy there, so it was kind of first sea experience on this trip. We had a quick chat with one local man. He was surprised that we are heading to north of Norway, so he wished us all the best and we drove further. From occupied parking in Haverdal we went further around 60 kilometers and arrived to Varberg.
Dál na sever, ujeli jsme asi 60 kilometrů a dojeli jsme do Varbergu.
There was camper parking, again in Marina. We arrived around midnight, but there was parking machine. I've paid by card, received PIN code, opened gate and we were in. The parking was nice, there was a lot of ships, some parked, some being serviced. There were great services, washing machines, dryer, showers, all included in the price of the parking. We were there for 2 days. Varberg is a nice city. There was great playground for kids in the city center. There was also city beach in Varberg. Lucia went there next day with the kids when I was working. It was right in the city, therefore nothing special, but it was okay for swimming. There were public bathrooms on the beach, so it was possible to get rid of sand right on the beach.
Žádná veliká paráda, nicméně dali se tam potom aspoň opláknout nohy, měli tam u toho záchory takovou koupelnu, takže to bylo dobrý.
Ale teď uvidíte mámu, jak nakopne Racka. After walk and playground, we drove to see a lighthouse. It was across whole city, next to big hotel. There was a stone prospect with a view around the water and with the lighthouse. It was almost night when we get there. Kids were a little bit scared, but we saw the nice dawn there. On the way there was few detours, so it was little adventure to get to the lighthouse, but luckily we were not towing the caravan and finally we get there. So we had a good time in Varberg and we went on the way to Oslo again. We spent next night near the church and cemetery. I found on Park4Night that it is possible to stay there overnight. One comment even stated that somebody from church came to campers in the morning and offered them breakfast. That was not our case, but we had calm night there and I was working during the next day. Lucia with kids went to have a walk there, so everything was okay. We arrived at night again to the church parking, so we did not know how it will look during the day, but obviously we did not bother anybody there and there was minimal traffic around. Data connection was working there. It is important for me to work. And for the kids as well. If there is no playground around, they play online watching videos and need to be online all the time. So there are two main conditions for each parking. We had to fit there with our vehicle and there has to be working internet connection. By the way, I will put all the places I've mentioned here down into the description, probably mainly links to Park4Night, so you can have a look as well.
Jinak všechny ty místa, o kterých mluvím, tak se budu snažit pát dolů do popisu. Můžete se potom podívat, asi tam budu většinou dávat odkazy na Park4Night, takže to tam můžete spouknout, kudy jsme jeli.
From the church, we drove on in the afternoon, heading further to Oslo. We crossed border to Norway and found service station in camper dealer area. So we emptied toilet, grey water, refilled fresh water, so after night without service we were ready for next one. There was propan bomb vending machine on the side, so we bought Norwegian bomb. We didn't pay any extra attention to it, we took a composite one, not steel. What was wrong with the bomb? We will discuss that in the moment.
Kompozitovou, hodil jsem ji do auta a jeli jsme. A co na ní bylo špatně, si povíme za chvíli.
This service station was next to camper dealer and equipment shop, as I've already said. We were there in afternoon again, so the shop was closed, but service area was accessible. All services were for free, fresh water, grey and black water dump, there was even working electricity outlet. In general, there are many places in Norway with free camper services. That is great.
Všechno zadarmo, jsou tam na to zařízený, je to super.
Then we finally arrived to Oslo. In Oslo, I have found parking in Winter Park, in the north side of the city.
Tak jako nad Oslem kousek severně je ski areál, kam
The place is probably used by Slovenians, well, citizens of Oslo are going to ski there through the winter. It is wonderful there because you drive all the way up on the mountain where upper stations of lifts are located. There is a huge parking lot where few campers were parked. Obviously there was local youths in cars visiting as well as motorbikes, but the parking was so big that nobody was bothering us. First evening we arrived, we detached the caravan and locked it and went to Oslo downtown. We wanted to have a quick walk in the city center, it was dark already. So we found underground parking and had a short walk in the harbor and some commercial center of the city. Actually, I haven't investigated too much what is where in the center, so it was a little bit random.
Části přístavu, kde evidentně byly jako pěší zóny a tak, možná nějaký jako trochu komerční centrum. My jsme to Oslo až tak nezkoumali, co všechno tam je.
Before we located the garage, we managed to drive to pedestrian and taxi only zone. To make it even better, there was a police car right on the spot with officers watching us suspiciously as we drove into the forbidden area. Luckily, with a scared look on my face, I was able to quickly turn around and no cops nor taxi drivers were following us to the garage.
Otočila, odjela, naštěstí za náma nevyrazili ani taxikáři, ani policie.
It is visible in this shot, about 50 meters ahead, right on the end of this street there was clearly pedestrian only zone with taxi roundabout and police car parking on the left side. So we turned around, head for next street and parked there in the underground garage.
A tam jsme zajeli do podzemní garáže.
Právě jsme v Oslu, jdeme na vlak. The next day, after work, we took underground to Botanic Garden of Oslo. In Oslo there are 5 underground lines, but they are actually underground only in the city center. Around the center, lines are above the ground like regular trains.
Tam to jezdí jako vlaky nad zemí.
Čekáme v Oslu na metro. Tady je zajímavý, že metro tady nejezdí pod zemí, ale nad zemí. T-bahn. Asi budou podávat čaj. Botanic Garden was great. Entrance was free. Nevertheless, it looked a little bit empty on first glance. All sections were open. We saw many interesting things. For Lucie and girls were most interesting those big water lilies. Victoria boliviana is the right name. There was whole greenhouse with those, including some written history and information about the plant. We all liked the greenhouse with exotic plants and cactuses. My son was mostly interested in carnivorous plants. There were even some species same as we have at home. So everybody found something there. There were nice spots outside of greenhouses and also opened bathrooms, so with kids ideal. As we were in afternoon there, because I was working during the day, restaurant was already closed unfortunately. We wanted to have ice cream, so we couldn't. Once we left the garden, we found small playground and small fast food with burgers and pizza. It was Norwegian fast food with apparently non-Norwegian owner managed to sort out with me what all I want. We were both using our bad English. I went out with few burgers, fries, etc. So kids were happy. We spent some more time on nearby playground and went to underground and head back to caravan. We get back to winter center parking, packed everything and went on the way heading west. We didn't took any concrete direction, we wanted to avoid Bergen. Our target was Alesund, but we wanted to go a little bit south and then pass through mountains or take some ferry through fjords. So initial direction was basically Bergen.
Přes ty kopce, případně přes nějakou ferry, takže jsme mířili víceméně směrem na Bergen.
So, now about the gas. In Norway, whole side with gas bomb is Aga. It actually went under Linde recently, but it is named Aga everywhere. I'm not sure if there is any other brands operating, but on every gas station or at supermarkets, etc., they all have Aga bombs. In opposed to what we are used in Central Europe or particularly in Czech, in Norway they have two types of valves on the bombs. There is one called click or click on. It is sort of bayonet connection, and the idea is that on the hose or opposite side of the bayonet there is regulator right on the connection part. The regulator lowers the gas pressure so it can be used in the appliance. So this is the click on. Then there is so-called industrial, and that is system that we are used to. There is a valve on the bomb that you can open and gas goes out straight from the bomb. This is called industrial, and wherever they have gas bombs they have both types. It doesn't matter if it is steel bomb or composite one, they have them mixed because somebody wants click on, somebody wants industrial. And it happened to us that when we were taking the bomb from the vending machine, we took the click on one. I found that out few days later when I wanted to check if I'll need anything special to connect the bomb into the caravan. I have set of reductions for European standards, so I wanted to ensure I can connect once we'll need to switch bombs. So I found out that there is no thread to screw the hose on, that there is some bayonet system, and that was quite disappointment, so I went a little bit unhappy. Later in Alesund I found camper equipment store. I went there and they explained to me the click-on versus industrial system. Unfortunately, I removed the blue plastic cover from the click-on serving as the seal of the bomb, so they could not take it back as full. But later they agreed that they will take it from me for their testing of equipment, and they changed it for me to the industrial one that I needed. But from my European set, no reduction fit on the bomb, so I had to buy another reduction to fit the bomb. That was expensive, it costed about 500 Norwegian crowns. But the reduction is quite smart. It looks like this. It has this thread that is loose on the body, and when screwed it presses the seal into the bomb. The advantage is that you do not need any tools to connect it. You screw it by hand and it is enough. I fight every time with the lack of space in front box of the caravan when changing the bombs, but with this reduction it is very easy. Even better are their steel bombs because they have very small holders on the top, so those were best to handle. Composite bombs has bigger handles, similar to those in Czech, so the access is not as good, but with this reduction it was quite easy anyway. In Norway you can buy or change bombs on almost every gas station. I was able to return a Norwegian bomb in Finland, but it was probably error of the staff. Because when I wanted to return second Norwegian bomb in Finland, I was informed that it is Norwegian and Swedish bomb and that I have no chance to return it in Finland. With the first one, I was on gas station where were two slightly confused ladies and they did not pay much attention to the bomb. They were happy that we were able to manage what I want from them. So I was able to switch that one for Finnish type, but I guess they should not take it from me there. Finnish bomb is different. One of the European reductions fits on it, so it works as expected. It is still AGA or Linde, and on their web you find that the bombs are usable in all Baltic and Scandinavian states, but it is not true. Maybe if I would try find some official AGA dealer, they would be able to change more types of bombs, but I didn't try that. So I bring one Norwegian and one Finnish bomb home, since the second one was not empty yet. So if anybody wants, I will probably sell those bombs, so let me know, or during the spring I will likely sell them online. Regarding changing, there was no problem in Norway nor Finland, they have the bombs on almost every gas station. It seemed that they use those bombs a lot.
Nějakých inzerátů. Co se výměny týče, tak ve Finsku i v Norsku s tím nebyl problém. V tom Norsku je to na každý benzínce, vždycky je tam vidět AGA, takový skříně a používají to tam asi hodně, takže tam nebyl absolutně problém s těma výměnama.
Thank you for watching and goodbye.